Hey guys, we're off the dribble. We're back with another video, and we're here to talk about the two Game 7s that happened today between the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. And they were uneventful for if you were just a random NBA fan, or also if you were the other team that got blown away. But without further ado, here's my co-host Chris. Say hello to everyone.
Man, let's just get this shit over with, bro.
First, we have to talk about the Celtics versus the Bucks. It was a somewhat relatively close game through like the first 2.5 quarters. It wasn't until like the end of the third quarter that the Celtics just went nuclear. Obviously, Jayson Tatum was great the whole game. Grant Williams hit 7 threes, so that's obviously huge. I think the only people in NBA history to hit 7 threes in a game 7 are Steph, Marcus Morris, and Grant Williams. That's a random list, but it is what it is. For the Bucks, Jrue Holiday was not amazing as a second option. He didn't really show up to the plate offensively. He had a huge game in Game 5, and then here in Game 7 where he needed to appear most, obviously offensively he didn't show up. And then other people just couldn't hit their shots. And because people couldn't hit their shots, the Celtics didn't really have to worry about outside shooters killing them. They can focus most of the attention on Giannis, because the fear before was that, okay, if we focus too much attention on Giannis, he's going to kick it out to these open shooters because he's a great playmaker, and they'll hit the threes. The thing is, they weren't hitting their threes, so they didn't have to focus about those shooters either. All the focus on Giannis, and there's no punishment for just leaving someone open because they couldn't hit the threes. And yeah, Giannis was sensational in the first half. Second half, he was not. I think he was like 4 of 16. He was not great at all in the second half when they needed him most. And obviously, just because we love Giannis doesn't mean that he can't have some criticism. But the fact that some people are just saying like, oh, Giannis isn't that guy, or he's not the superstar just because he averaged like 35, 13, and like 7 in this series, but like people are trying to say, oh, he's not that guy, he's not a true superstar. That's just dumb, slanderous talk about Giannis that doesn't make any sense. He did everything he could to win. Brook Lopez is also big in this game too. It was probably his best game of the series. But they just couldn't get it done. Not having Chris Middleton there was huge, especially when they needed offense and they couldn't get it. Especially from Giannis, who's just missing shots that he always typically makes. That was obviously dreadful. And that what led to the blowout in the end. Boston hit their threes. They were sensational. Give all credit to them. But again, the Bucks just couldn't get it done, and they're not going to make it back to the NBA Finals.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah. Yes, Kit. It's your turn.
Bro. Yeah, Giannis, I mean, he still didn't shoot great, but he still kind of did his thing. He had almost a triple-double in the first quarter. He had like 10, 8, and 6, but
after, he had it with 25, 20, and like 10.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's just a pedestrian performance. Nothing impressive.
Yeah, he did shoot like 9 for 24 from the field, though. So, yeah, that was... Bro, I don't know.
Getting offensive help, though.
Yeah. But he was out there. I don't know. He was just missing, just like you said, he was missing shots he normally makes. That little hop step floater hook thing. He was breaking that hole. He was missing his mid-range pull-ups. I don't think he made a single jump shot this game. He was clanking all the holes. But all right, let's talk about Grayson Allen. Let me slander real quick. He was out there playing like straight toilet water, bro. He was straight cheeks, bro. Yeah, now he's not only was like he's shooting terrible throughout the whole series, but he couldn't really guard anybody. I think that more so than anything is what they were missing with Chris Middleton being out. Another big, long defender that can guard a Jayson Tatum or a Jaylen Brown, because Grayson Allen couldn't do it. Like when Jaylen Brown went off in, was it Game 3? Not Game 3, Game 6? Game 5 or Game 6? I can't remember. Jaylen Brown had like 16 in the third quarter, and it was almost all.
No, Game 5.
Yeah, it was almost all exclusively on Grayson Allen. And Pat Connaughton, he's a solid defender, but he's just not big enough, like, to be quite frank. So I don't know why the Bucks didn't decide to try out, I don't know, maybe Javon Carter or something. While he's another small guard, but he's pesky. He might be able to get under the skin like a Patrick Beverly or something like that. I don't know why they didn't at least try it.
Bro, George Hill was terrible.
Yeah, George Hill was ass. Grayson wasn't doing shit. You might as well try Javon. He's still small too, but if George Hill and Grayson not doing shit anyway, then fuck it, just go for it.
Yeah.
Drewski, yeah, he was out there playing. I don't understand. He's so inconsistent, bro. And the thing is, like, he's nice. Like, you see his moves. Like, he got handles, he got spin moves, he got counters. Like, he can play basketball, but then sometimes he just be breaking, bro. He was breaking all his jump shots, missing layups. I don't know what was up with him. Yeah, he was garbage. He was playing like trash, but not like regular trash. You know when not compost, but like when they got like rotten fish and like tomatoes and eggs, like the nasty trash. I'm not talking about just like, boxes or like paper plates. Nah. I'm not talking about that type of trash. I'm talking about real food waste, bro. What
I will say about the Bucks is that this year freaking sucks for them because obviously they didn't have to go back to back. Like, no one's gonna say, "Oh, the Bucks, yada yada." They had their championship. No one can take it away from them. And there were fans in the stands last year. You can't take away that championship from them. What I will say is that injuries suck because heading into the series, they lost. They said, "Okay, Chris Middleton, devoid of him, actually is going to be the difference maker in this series," and it actually proved to be the case. Because obviously, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're going to be professionally great, and regardless of who's guarding them. But at the same time, having Chris Middleton would have definitely made a difference, especially in the series that they lost in Game 7. That's a huge, tough blow. Obviously, the ideology is like, okay, if Chris Middleton played, we win the series, we make the conference finals, and who knows? Now, you don't know what's going to happen in the Eastern Conference next year. The Brooklyn Nets could retool, or they could be a completely different team. Other teams could get better. Obviously, there's a lot of internal improvement. Look like the Celtics from this year versus last year. A lot of internal improvement. Essentially, like the same core of players. It's literally just internal improvement between guys like, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Jayson Tatum taking a lead, Jaylen Brown being consistent as he has, Marcus Smart being a much better decision maker. Like, it was a golden opportunity to make it past the Celtics, but unfortunately, they couldn't get it done. Now, as for the Celtics, it's amazing for basketball that they're able to make another conference finals. Like, this is their third conference finals in 5 years. Jayson Tatum has already 3 conference finals on his resume, whereas Carmelo Anthony only has 1 for his career. Essentially, this core is built. There isn't any free agency signing or anything crazy like that. Obviously, they drafted Robert Williams. They drafted Grant Williams. They drafted Jayson Tatum. They drafted Jaylen Brown. They drafted Marcus Smart. Like, all the core players on their team are drafted and developed, and it's developed to what they are. And the Heat, the team that they're going to face in the conference finals, that's another team where it's like, okay, it's not like they drafted and developed all their places, but they literally have a set culture of like how things are done and how it should be executed, where they have results. Like, they have a guy like Jimmy Butler, they have a Kyle Lowry, they have a Oladipo, they have a Bam Adebayo, they have a PJ Tucker, they have a Tyler Hero. They can score. They play Heat basketball where they facilitate. They make plays for each other. There's no selfishness. They put the team before themselves. Like, all that's great for basketball. It's going to be a great conference finals to watch. I guess that's it for that game. Let's talk about Suns versus Mavs. The Mavs, literally, not even everything was falling for them. There was a stretch where they're up by 14, and they were just shooting and clanking threes. Open looks. Reggie Bullock was clanking looks. Brunson was clanking looks. Everyone was clanking looks. But they were still up by 13. Like, Luka was sensational early on. I think he had, like, how many points in that first quarter? And then under the first half, Luka had 27. The same amount of points that the Suns had in the first half. The first half. So, hats off to Mavs defense. But you can't just tell me that this Mavs defense. The Suns were just missing shots. They sold. Like, I've never seen a team not show up in a game 7 in your home court. Like, that's... People sold their houses. People sold their cars to visit, to see this game, watch you play. I don't know what money they paid. Hundreds of dollars, what loans they took out, thousands of dollars they paid to get these seats. And you sold. Like, down by 30 in the first half. You're at home. You're a 64-win team. You have no injuries. There are no injuries on your team. Like, this is a fully healthy Suns team. At home, game 7. You are by far the best team record-wise. You had one of the best road records in NBA history. You're great at home. You have one of the greatest point guards of all time in Chris Paul. You have the 4th place MVP runner-up in Devin Booker. One of the best players in the league as well. You have a dominant big in DeAndre Ayton, who can give you 20 and 10. You have the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year, who can give you 15 and Mikal Bridges. You have a deep bench with Cam Johnson, Cam Payne, JaVale McGee, Bismack Biyombo, and all these guys. Landry Shamet. And you lose at home by they didn't lose by 50, by 33 points at home. They were down by almost 50 at one point. In your home court.
Man, they was throwing up bricks like it was a set, bro. They was throwing up big bricks. It was representing. But I don't know what else to say. They couldn't make any shots. Devin Booker was complaining to the refs every time he drove. They weren't giving him any calls. He was still missing the layups. Whether or not he got fouled is like, I guess that's like debatable on some of those. But a lot of they were just missing shots they usually make. Yeah. They just choked. This is the definition of a choke. If there was any, if there was like a GIF for like a Webster in a web, there was like if there were GIFs in the Webster dictionary for choke, this would be the GIF right here. It would be the Phoenix Suns. Just play some highlight clips of them just bricking wide open shots. Because like you said, the Mavs had 47 points at halftime. That's not like they were going off. The Suns just couldn't make a damn shot. Oh, 57, my bad, 57.
Yeah, 57. Regardless,
that's an average game in today's NBA. Yeah. That's average. It's not like they had 80 at halftime. 57, that's an average game. The Suns had 27. Most teams score that in a quarter. They had that at halftime. So yeah, this just I don't know what else could be said. They weren't, and it's not like the Sixers where they were complaining to each other. They were yelling at each other like they just looked discombobulated, like they didn't know what plays they wanted to run. Like the teammates, because I don't know if you remember, but in Game 6 of the Sixers Heat, like there was like 3 turnovers where literally somebody's just passing the ball to the wing and the nigga's not paying attention and it just went out of bounds. That's not what was happening. The Suns were running their plays. 64-win team. They're cohesive. Everybody knows their role. They know their spots. They know all the plays. This is like a well-oiled machine. Their offense is real fluid, bricking, just bricking. I think
it's inexplicable. I don't.
Hey! Everybody was saying that Torrey Craig video of him trolling before the game yesterday is not gonna age well. Damn, that shit going viral now. That shit's for sure going viral. Shout out Torrey Craig, I guess.
Okay, before we're going to talk about the Suns for like 1,000 more minutes after this, but I guess we're just going to give credit to the Dallas Mavs. What the Dallas Mavs have accomplished is freaking, and Jason Kidd have accomplished is freaking amazing. Like, when was the last time just like one player, like one all-star and like role players made the conference final? Just Luka and role players who it's like, okay, you count the next best players in the series, all of them are on the opposing team. There are players like Brunson obviously stepped up to the plate, but he's inconsistent. Dinwiddie was basically dead all series to this game. He showed up. He basically scored all the points he should have scored between last six games. He scored all in this game. Exactly. And Dorian Finney-Smith, like these are solid role players, but like they're like the supporting pieces of like the big piece of it's Luka and these role players that are dominating the Western Conference right now. Going back to the Suns, I've been holding on to this belief for like a while now. I don't think DeAndre Ayton is worth an extension. I really don't. I'm not doubting his ability. Like, we all know what he's capable of. He's capable of giving you 20 and 10. Like last year in the playoffs, he averaged like 16 and 10 on great efficiency. The thing is, he's too inconsistent. Like, when is the last time you've seen DeAndre Ayton go like a 5-game stretch? Oh, he averaged 20 and 12 in this series. Or he averaged this. He hasn't done that in this playoffs. Like, literally in matchups where he's supposed to dominate. Like, the Mavs have no bigs to throw at him. Like, it's just Maxi Kleber. He's a solid defender. I'm not discrediting him. But it's Maxi Kleber, like these other guys. And you're 7-1 and you can't dominate them in the post. Like, when Devin Booker and Chris Paul and others can't get it going offensively from the perimeter, you dominate in the post. That was like the whole thing. Okay, when the Warriors meet the Suns, how are they going to deal with DeAndre Ayton? He's DeAndre Ayton so dominant in the post. We haven't seen that dominance from DeAndre Ayton in so long time. Not only that, it's like they have so much money tied in between. They just gave Mikal Bridges a $90 million extension. Booker's on his extension. Chris Paul's on his extension. Was just $120 million for 4 years.
I wouldn't. I can't justify it. If they lost this year, it's not like there's no way for them to get better next year. There's no offseason moves. There's no internal improvement they can make in that. Unless Mikal Bridges becomes Kawhi next season. There's no way. Because Chris Paul ain't hitting that fountain of youth. He already went vegan. What more can he do? He's going to be eating straight rose petals and vitamin water next year, bro. Because I don't know what else he could do to try to preserve his body. It's just inevitable at this point. It's not like his body was like shutting down on him, but He just wasn't able to perform the last like 5 games of the series. So
yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna fix itself. Devin Booker, he just performed bad, but he'll be back. He'll still be the same player. He's young. He could take another slight step up. I can't see him making another huge leap because how much further could he go? He's like one of the best players in the league already.
Yeah.
And plus, he's been the same player now for about 3 years, so it's like you don't really expect him to. He kind of just is where he is. If somebody's been consistent for a few years, then you could see where their peak is.
Yeah.
So it looks like this is Devin Booker's peak, and I just don't see the Suns going anywhere with this. So I don't think DeAndre Ayton is worth the money that he's going to be asking for this offseason. Yeah, I think low-key it's over with for the Suns. Chris Paul, damn, bro. I hate to see it, bro. I wanted him to get a chip, bro. It's not.
But I guess last question for you. Do you think Chris Paul's championship window is done? But when I mean championship window, I don't mean like, okay, yeah, when he just joins the Heat, like at age 41, he wins like a Gary Payton ring. Like, remember when Gary Payton was on the Heat, like in 2006, when he was like 1,000 years old, but he was on the bench and like they won. It's like, hey, I got a ring. But it's like, nah, you didn't really get a ring. Like,
it's sad to say, but I think it is. I think this year was their last real legitimate chance to have a ring with him being the not the best player on the team, but definitively the second best player on the team, and him having a star role. I think this year was his last chance. I don't see this happening again. Because if they had a malfunction like this, and the Nuggets are going to be back with Jamal Murray, the Warriors are going to be back the same next season, if not better, because they can still make some moves. The Mavericks are still, most of their players are still young. They could potentially get better, or they can make some moves to improve as well. The Grizzlies, another young up and coming team. Like all the contenders in the West, all the contenders in the West have young players. Even the Warriors, even though their core is older, they have like almost all of their role players are young. I don't see it happening, man. I don't think Chris Paul is getting his ring as a solid contributor. He might, like you said, he might hit that Heat ring as a 6th man or something. That's about it. Yeah, and while I was harsh on Chris Paul, this is strictly applicable to this series. This is not going back and saying that this is how he's performed in every playoffs in his career, because that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
Shout out Luka the Don. Appreciate y'all for watching. Love y'all. See you next time. Peace.